Well, certainly going to a place that's unique, different. It's not been a place where there's been a lot of success for any team going in there and playing on the road. A lot of that has to do with their team and their coaching staff. I've always had a lot of respect for Vanderbilt and the job that they do. Always have great players. Seems like they always got a bunch of good shooters. This year's team's no different. Reed's shooting at 41% in the league. Dahlman's just a tough, hard-nosed, competitive basketball player, much like Dominique Dillingham. So you have a real appreciation for someone like that, and you know, they play extremely hard, extremely well, and again, just are well coached. So we've certainly got our hands full. We've played well at times on the road this year, and I'm anxious to see how we'll go on the road there. We played pretty well on Sunday on the road, and you know, we've had some other ball games on the road at Arkansas where we played well, at LSU. So anxious to see us play and get back to playing, and again play in a different environment and see how we adjust.
You think the players that experience that environment, the configuration of the court, everything, you think they'll have learned something maybe from last year's experience?
Well, you know, last year we went in there 18-0 and didn't seem to help. So it's just unique. You know, you do it once every 2 years, once every year. Your point guard's away from you in the first half. Your defense is away from you in the second half. And so it really affects you early. I think when your point guard's away from you in the first half, you really got to have some presence at that position and some accountability running your team. And you know, they have changed the rule a little bit. They do let the coach walk about 5 steps down the side, but it ain't much. So point guard play really becomes a factor in that gym.
Speaking of that, will Jazz be available?
I think so. Yeah, I think today she's fairly cleared. I think that's a conservative way to put it. So I think she'll be available. Now her thing is we've got to get her back in shape. She's been out, you know, a while, so but she'll come back.
What's it been like the last couple of games, not having her, just having to move some different people behind?
Yeah, I mean, it just puts a wear and a tear on Morgan when Morgan already has some wear and tear, you know, with that leg. So probably, you know, obviously I sat Morgan against Kentucky and her and Tori both, and they didn't play as much. But that, as much as I sat them, it would have been a great experience for Jazz in that ball game to have played. Morgan got tired at Ole Miss. She really got tired when we played Mississippi on Sunday. So then I could have used her then too. And Jazz had some success against them earlier in the year, so I think she would have gone in and played with some confidence and really been good for her. So I hate it for her, but she's been a champ, worked hard at getting back, and so I'm anxious to get her back in rotation.
When you break down your offense, or either on tape or video, however you do it, for clips and just things to go over, some teaching points, what are some of the things that you're showing the kids to say, example A, example B, this is what we need to do to improve on offense?
Well, I'm just going to use out-of-bounds plays as an example. We really executed Sunday on out-of-bounds plays. Don't win the game? Maybe, if we don't execute on out-of-bounds plays. You know, a general rule for your shooters is if you want to be open, you got to set a good screen to make somebody who's guarding you maybe hedge or help on the person you're screening, so then you'll become open. And so for us, we're not a good screening team. 1 through 5, we're not a good screening team. Even our post players are not good. We had another illegal screen on Sunday down there on the baseline. I don't know how much simpler it is to put it, just stand there and be still. I mean, those are the same words I've used with them. And it's up to Victoria or whoever to cut off of you. You just be still. But they try so hard. They want to help that kid get open so bad. And so it's not that they're trying to foul. They're trying to set a good screen. But then you get a situation like Chinway when we were at A&M. That wasn't an illegal screen that they called on. And it wiped 3 points off the board. So, you know, in any case, for us, I show them the good. Hey, this is a great job. Good job screening here. And then I'll show them, hey, you let them through the double team. You guys let them step right through the double screen and guard us. We still scored on it. But, you know, I think you got to show them the good and the bad and help them to understand, you know, the things that you're doing positive. One of the things we're doing, we're turning down our post players. They're open, and we ain't throwing them the ball. I mean, I don't know any simpler way to put it, but we got post players, 6'5" and 6'7", that are open, and we continue to either turn them down or throw the ball at their feet. There's not a drill that we run, y'all, where we tell them to throw a bounce pass to Tierra or Chinley. We tell them to throw it high. You break them down on dribble penetration, and that 5 player comes to help up, either shoot it and just get it on the rim. We'll get the rebound, or throw it high and let them catch it high. But, you know, a lot of times kids aren't used to playing with that kind of size on their team, so they don't know how to pass the ball to a 6'7" and a 6'5".
When you see a shooting percentage like you had against Ole Miss, I think 51-1, and the league is tough enough defensively, and then you compare it to other percentages that you've had that have been lower, what do you think is the difference? Because you've talked about some kids learning how to take better shots. I would say a lot of the games that you lost, you're getting the shots that you want. Is it not getting the shots that you want consistently enough, or is it the kids that need to get in the gym a little bit more so that 12-foot jump shot becomes a little bit more automatic?
Yeah, I think all of what you said is probably a good point. I'm trying to think. I think Tori took a bad shot Sunday. She was 10 for 18. She made shots in rhythm. She comes down in transition, 15-foot pull-up. Those are her rhythm shots, you know. She came off of screens on our out-of-bounds plays that we put in rhythm, made shots. So I think it starts there. Dom's shots were all good shots. She goes 5 for 14. But no, 5 for 14, but all good shots. And if I could get that to 5 to 12, that'd be my dream. But again, her 14 shots were good shots. So I just think that, you know, again, it comes down to execution and getting the shots we want in the spots we want them from. And we got out in transition too. You know, we had some layups in transition. That always increases your field goal percentage when you can get 3 or 4 or 5 layups in a game. And that's what we got the other night. So I think that's the key for us is, in the other teachings, we held them to 25% shooting. You know, we talked about it this morning. 2 things that really stand out with this team. One, we've been a really good defensive team most of the year. We've had a hiccup every now and then, but we've been really good there. We're a really good offensive rebounding team. We've been a really good free throw shooting team. So that's kind of who we are. So look, when we go out and play, we got to lock down and hold somebody under 60 and go score 61, 62. And that's who we are right now. I don't think we're going to morph into some team that's going to score 75, 80 points every night. I think this is who we are. But I think if we're going to try to increase and get better, we've got to stop turning down our 5 players. That's the first place in my mind that we're not exploring enough. And it starts with Morgan. A lot of Morgan's apprehension is for size and having to see and make that perfect pass against not only somebody bigger than her, but then try to read the angle on who's guarding our bigs down there. So,
Talk about the team feeding off of Victoria and the best player, all that, not going to get sent out Sunday, but I know it's maybe tough to get her to that point every single night where she's that player to look to.
Yeah.
To try to get really consistent.
it is. It is hard to get a young player like her to that point every night. I mean, we play 30-plus games. And, you know, I said it the other day, I can't give my best pregame speech every night. And sometimes it's hard as a player, but bottom line is you have to think of it as we only get 30, 35 games. This is why we're here. We won't play. When the lights come on, that's our time to shine. And so with that in mind, we've got to find a way to understand and be ready every night, knowing, especially her, she's gonna get everybody's game plan. They boxed and won her the other night. And so, she's gonna get everybody's best game plan, and the rest of our team has to step up. Don's gotta step up and make shots. Morgan is averaging double figures now in our last 5 ball games. Morgan's averaging 12 a game, okay? Tori's scoring average is down in our last 5 to 13, but over the course of the SEC, it's still 15.4 and Morgan's 10.8. So that's two good areas, but my 5 players scoring average has come down. And they're shooting the ball better than anybody on the team, percentage-wise. So, I gotta do a better job of coaching our kids and teaching them angles and making them understand who's open. And if you can't feed them, then you gotta know that if she's being high-sided here, this person can make the feed. You know, so that's a point of emphasis today in practice. We're gonna work on some things.
And when you talk about feeding the post, I guess the other side of it would be the post player recognizing what's the best way to get the shot off. Against Ole Miss, maybe Chinway, more particularly than Tierra, it seemed like she had more success in the opportunity she had when she was able to just go quick with her shot. Is that something that you want her, and maybe Tierra too, to recognize that you have to go quick, you can't let the defense collapse on you, and if you keep the ball high and you go quick, it increases your chances to score?
Don't think there's any doubt. When you're worried about teams coming and doubling, like some teams have done with us, maybe it's not so much that they're worried about us scoring one-on-one on them as much as they're just trying to make us make a decision down there. Tierra caught the ball one time and just turned and flung it over to Tori right in front of our bench. She didn't even look. Tori was actually covered, but the pass was so bad, Tori caught it and recovered to catch it. And you could see when Tierra turned it loose, she was smiling like, oh my, I probably should have looked. And it worked out fine. I think Tori ended up making a shot, but that's just youth, both of them being young. The other piece of that is I'm not real big on them catching and putting the ball on the floor. I think you open yourself up to another can of worms. I think at some point in their career we'll let them do that, but right now I am more interested in feeling them on one side, drop stepping here, feeling them here, drop stepping here. That's what I'm teaching, and we're trying to reiterate to 2 very young and inexperienced 5 players.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, praise the Lord and go Dogs.